Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Highlands Performance Golf Center, North Dallas's premier golf practice facility with over 65 grass tees, 2 practice putting surfaces, a short game area, and an 18-hole mini golf course. With covered and heated tees, it's the best place to practice your game year-round. The Highlands Performance Golf Center is located in Carrollton on Trinity Mills, in between Marsh and Midway. Give them a call at 972-733-4111 or check them out on the web at highlandspgc.com. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of America's favorite golf podcast. We are From the Rough. I'm IndyCarTim. That is John Gerber, PGA of America member John Gerber. And we are coming live to you after, kind of a long absence and a very sketchy first show back last week.
We were live last week.
We were, but it was just kind of sketchy is all I'm going to say.
Well, just sometimes you got to kick the rust off of it a little bit before you kind of get into it. That's why the PGA Tour season starts with winners only event, right? So they'll kick the rust off of it.
Yeah.
We're no different. I mean, we are different, but we're not that much different.
We had so much rust, or I did. You were fine. I just had all the rust.
That's true. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Lord, you were in mid-season form, or I was the one struggling. I forgot how to podcast last week.
Well, you definitely forgot to exit. So
I didn't even remember my dismount. It was terrible.
Yeah, that's fine.
And I feel bad about that. Like I want to go delete it and redo it, but
too late.
How great would it be if we could go back and redo last week's show, knowing what we know now, talking about the century? I mean, how genius would we look?
Well,
you already do.
Well, first off, I would prefer we forgot last week because the betting card was terrible on our end. And, we have weeks like that, and we'll get into it a little bit later on. But, yeah, it wasn't a great week. It's one of those rare weeks that, we don't have very many of those. We just don't eat. We don't even cash in on a play.
Right.
I didn't, you and I talked over the weekend about, do we have matchups for the week? I was like, man, my pulse is so off this week, obviously where we're at, that we didn't even have Jon Rahm or Collin Morikawa on our card. So, it's just one of those weeks that, we hit foul balls, but if you look at our track record that, when we have a bad week, we don't cash in. The next week is very successful. So looking forward to a great week and a great card this week at the Sony Open.
We're looking forward to Johnny's picks. You can follow us on your favorite social media. The show is at From the Rough PGA.
Thank you for saying that correctly. Almost messed it up again.
I did. I am at IndyCarTim. He is at J Gerber PGA Pro. You can also find us on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we post those picks for you. We did it earlier today. We will get into reviewing his card for the century a little bit later, and then also his after we preview the Sony Open, we will get into his picks towards the end of the show for that. But first things first, and we did have the first tournament of the 2023 season this past weekend, the 2023 Tournament of Champions, and it looked like it was Collin Morikawa's tournament really to lose for the first 67 holes. He was in complete control of his game. He had a 6-stroke lead heading into Sunday. Everybody else was playing for second place except for one person who was still playing for first. Of course, that is Jon Rahm, as he had an epic come-from-behind victory as he was behind by as many as 9 strokes behind Morikawa, but he kept his head down. He kept working. He totaled to 27 under and was rewarded with a 2-stroke victory at the Plantation Course at Kapalua. What did you take away from that final round for both Morikawa and Rahm?
A little bit of that too is, every time with that Morikawa's, I look at him. One of the reasons we didn't have him on our card this week is because that place is notorious for being windy. Same is going to be potentially this week. So when the wind doesn't blow, and especially players like that, he has a great advantage because his ball striking. He's not the greatest chipper in the world, which showed kind of later on in the year, whether that was a rust. But he's when he won the British Open and he won the PGA Championship, those 2 places and his other 2 wins are super notorious for being windy. Mm-hmm. Well, those weeks the wind didn't blow, and as good of a ball striker that he is, he had a really big advantage, and he is the worst win player, if not 2 or 3 worst win players on the PGA Tour. I mean, this is just fact. So, knowing I can't handicap when we do these things about. I have to go by trends of what I know that the wind is going to blow. I mean, it's a rarity that it doesn't blow, and it just happened to be this week that it didn't blow. That being said, he jumped up to the leaderboard, and he's not the greatest chipper in the world, a little bit because how he swings the golf club, and especially with that type of grass and hitting some shots that you have to hit high. And when that Bermuda, he's not great on Bermuda, first off.
Right.
He's a California kid, not great on Bermuda. And then when you get that really coarse, hard, grainy Bermuda that grows into you, and you're not one of the, I mean, listen, he is a great chipper for regular people that play golf, but PGA Tour standards, he's really not. And then you get something to where you have that grainy grass and the grainy Bermuda going in against you, and you try to hit some of those high shots. You have there's a big, small margin for error. And you saw him chunked a couple, he thinned a couple, and that was just a little bit of his technique and not knowing the grass and hitting it into that grainy Bermuda grass. So, like I said, it all compiled to a lot of things against him. But first off, I didn't think he was going to be there in that situation anyways. And kudos to Jon Rahm, right? Jon Rahm went and got the golf tournament. And maybe a little bit that Morikawa lost it shooting even part of last round. I believe he shot 73. Can't win a golf tournament on that place when, the average score is 5 or 6 under. And Jon Rahm just went out there, hung around, and kind of took it. And then he played solid. And, I think he birdied 5 of the last 7 holes to win the golf tournament. So, a little bit of both. I mean, if Morikawa goes out there, shoots 3 or 4 under, he wins the golf tournament, but he didn't. Jon Rahm just went out there and took it. And that's what Jon Rahm does. I mean, Jon Rahm's not, he's not scared of anything. I mean, he's not scared of I can't really say it on this show, maybe next show, but he's not scared of anything. So, like I said, a little bit of both, but kudos to Jon Rahm. We didn't have him Jon Rahm on our card last week either. So we'll see.
Morikawa began his final round with a bogey. He fell to 16 under and appeared to be on the cusp of a nice finish, but not certainly a memorable one, excuse me. Birdie on a second hole put Rahm back to even par on the day, and 4 additional par breakers saw him reach 21 under for the tournament. And he had some interesting things to say. One of the quotes that I thought was interesting: if you told me at the beginning of the round after that bogey I was going to do what I did and have a 3-shot lead after finishing, I don't know if I would have believed you. So I think he was pretty confident in what he was doing, but nobody could have anticipated Morikawa's breakdown, right? I mean, that's just not his game.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely not his game. He's the pillar of consistency when it comes to that. But again, how much did he really play this week? He got married, which that's another sore subject for me with him. But we joke about that all the time. But yes, I mean, how much did he really play? I mean, again, the weather conditions really helped Collin Morikawa to kind of have that lead with the wind not blowing. And I don't know. I don't think he's playing this week. A lot of these guys will go over there and play Tournament of Champions. It's one of those stipulated events they have to play now for the PGA Tour. It's kind of different a little bit, and then they won't play this week. There's very rarely you'll see guys that play Maui and then come over to the mainland in Honolulu and play Sony. They usually don't play both. So Jordan Spieth's doing both this year. There's a few guys. JT will maybe do a little bit of both, but there's a handful of guys that will do that. And I don't think Colin's not in the field this week.
So a birdie on the closing hole put the finishing touches on a 10 under 63, in which Rahm played his final 17 holes at 11 under, going 27 under on the weekend, now 60 under at the Plantation course over his last 8 rounds. He's just been consistent here, and just nobody was going to get in his way over the weekend. Collin Morikawa, of course, finished 25 under. Again, I hate these double-digit under pars. I just think it's especially 27. Good God, dude.
I mean, those fairways out there, you could even hit them. I mean,
I can hit anything.
No, you can't. Slow down. No, you can't
hit it like
you,
Jesus.
You could actually hit almost all these fairways, except when it's instead of 80 yards wide. If it's 70 yards wide, you're out. But 80-yard wide fairways.
So you're saying I could have hit it like Jesus?
Well, no, you could have hit the fairways.
Okay, well, I probably would have parred out, right?
Par's not 8. Par is
Oh,
not.
they don't have
eight.
par 8s anymore?
They don't have par 8s.
I need to get some par 8s.
That'd be even par for you.
As impressive as Rahm's victory was, Morikawa's losing was equally stunning. With the first 67 holes of this event, Morikawa played them at 27 under with no bogeys. He then played holes 68 through 70 with 3 over, with 3 bogeys. Again, I don't know, watching him for as long as we have, that anybody would have anticipated that. Sunday with a lead on the back 9 of an event are very different than Thursdays and Fridays. And, Morikawa hit some shots that can only be explained by, I don't know, mental deterioration or fatigue or something at that point.
Well, it wasn't really the golf shots. He didn't really strike the ball that bad.
Right.
His short game, his chipping around the greens were bad. And that's not an easy place to chip. I mean, I played there a couple times. And when you, like I said, we talked about it. It's like when you have that Bermuda growing against you and you have to hit a high shot, because all those greens are either higher or lower in elevation. There's very few shots that aren't that way. It's hard. It's hard to chip there, especially when you kind of taken, maybe a month off or 6 weeks off in the off season a little bit. He didn't play that much this off season just for him getting married, but it's tough. It's tough, especially when that type of pressure. So, I kind of look at it more of his short game than it was in his ball striking.
Tom Kim finished 5th at 22 under, and I didn't get to watch the entire tournament, but what I did see from him, I was a little bit impressed.
Dallas resident now. He lives.
He moved here, didn't he?
Yeah, he lives here.
When's he coming in the studio?
I don't know. We'll have to talk. We'll see if we can get him on.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's got a pretty busy schedule. He likes to play golf. I know he's spent the holidays with Jordan Spieth. So
babysitting Jordan Spieth's kid, right?
Yeah.
That was interesting. Tom Kim led the field in strokes gained tee to green and continues to raise his game on every tour and at every turn. There's a lot of unknowns with him, I think, which is part of what makes him, especially when you pick him in tournaments, which part of what makes it interesting. If he continues to keep striking the ball like he did over his first 9 months of PGA Tour golf, he's going to be almost unstoppable, I think.
I mean, look at the rise of him. If you look at it, how he started kind of in the getting in the FedEx Cup playoffs, winning a Wyndham, I believe he won at Wyndham, and then just kind of, the star of kind of that President's Cup team, right? I mean, for a guy that's 20 years old, you didn't hear it in August. You never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
And now he's best odds this week in the Sony Open. So kind of that turnaround over the last 6 months 5-6 months is huge. And, hey, the guy's got personality. He showed his game in the President's Cup and some of those team experiences. I mean, you looked at Tony Finau, play in the Ryder Cup, getting that confidence kind of made Tony Finau feel better winning golf tournaments. A little bit with Tom Kim also. So those team experiences can really help. But like, it's weird. He's the favorite this week, and I've never seen this on a betting card. He's the favorite this week of never playing the golf course or the tournament.
Wow.
So
tells you a little something right there.
And a little bit too is they're kind of taking what he did last week, but these two golf courses are polar opposites. And this is a golf course. It's very quirky, and you see the same guys have success year after year, and it just kind of shocked me. I don't like him this week, not because I don't like him. I just don't. I think there's a little bit of nuances at that place at WAIALAE that he's. I know he gets a lot in practice rounds. I get it, but that's a tough place to putt, those small greens and a lot of those dog legs.
Jordan Spieth tied for 13th at 19 under. After playing the first 2 rounds at 13 under, Spieth played the last 2 in just 6 under and completely took himself out of contention with what he described as some bad decisions. He didn't hit the ball well over last weekend. A lot of it, again, according to him, were some bad decisions on the golf course. He still finished in the top 15 in tee to green play. Maybe among the best tee to green players in the world, right? I mean, that's kind of his game.
Yeah, you look at Jordan Spieth. Who, Jordan Spieth?
Yeah.
No, not tee to green. No, his short game is better. And tee to green, he's not one of the better ball strikers on the PGA Tour. Driver distance, things like his short game is incredible.
That's his forte.
That is 100% his forte. And you look at, I know he's been working hard here in Dallas on his game, on his golf swing. And it was a pretty cool interview I watched this afternoon. He's like, yeah, listen, I'm close. He didn't have a chance to win the golf tournament last week, but he made great strides. Like for him to shoot the scores he did, very kind of, blase, just kind
Yeah,
of going through
yeah.
the motions a little bit, knock off a little bit of the rust. And, I like the way you got to realize Jordan Spieth didn't play in the tournament last year because he didn't win. So this is one of those years. I think he wants to play more. I think he's going to play more. And we talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago. Look for Jordan Spieth to have a really solid year. And I think we picked him for one of the majors. I think, didn't we?
Yeah, we both did. We both did.
We picked out and like I said, I know he's working hard. And when Jordan Spieth says, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm swinging freely and just playing golf, that's when Jordan Spieth thrives, because his short game and his chipping and putting is so good that he just has to hit it average. I mean, to be honest with you, just don't hit those big foul balls. And he's he could potentially be in contention every week.
So yeah, I mean, as well as he's played, I'm kind of curious. Do you think that the tournament they're playing, or the course they're playing this week, and we know it's vastly different, do you think the course this weekend will cater to his play a little bit better, maybe than Plantation? Kapalua?
No, absolutely. I think short game wise for sure, and he likes the golf course. He's played well here before. So he likes the golf course, kind of those little dog legs. Length is not going to be an issue here. It's never an issue here. It's not the longest. It's like 7,000 yards, par 70. So length is not really the big, determining factor who's going to win the golf tournament. If you look at the history of this golf tournament, is different types of guys who won.
Right.
And different types of guys who's had success. Russell Henley's won the tournament twice. Webb Simpson has success every year, has won the golf tournament. Some of the shorter hitters by PGA Tour standards has some success there. So, listen, if Jordan Spieth, if he hit it the same he hit it last week, and his short game's a little bit better, he could be in contention. He's not on our card this week, but I foresee him having a good week.
Xander Schauffele withdrew, and I was a little disappointed because I was really excited to see him start the season off strong. Did you hear his reasoning why he withdrew?
No, I didn't. No,
it's hilarious.
It was hurt. Oh, he wasn't hurt.
It's hilarious.
Okay.
And this is the quote.
Too many Mai Tais?
As I heard it on the air, as they read. I didn't hear him say it, but this was the quote. I try to exercise more, eat better, and do everything better. And I guess I should have just stayed fat and more mobile, I guess, and not worked out and tried to do all of these good things that I have been doing. Like, I need to be more like a golfer from the early 90s.
Wow. I love that. Well, it kind of screwed David Duval up, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
a little bit.
Your golf, people don't realize, as a teacher, as a PGA professional, and as a competitor, when your body changes, your golf swing changes, right? So when you don't know where your golf swing is because your body changes, and listen, it's fine. We all want to get in better shape. I mean, I hope everyone kind of wants to get in better shape, especially the longevity of the guys on the PGA Tour have. So you want to be in the best shape you can. But if you change just a little bit, your golf swing changes, your length of your swing changes, things like that. And maybe that was just, I don't know, but he didn't say he was hurt. He just said he was.
I guess he just wasn't comfortable with the way he was playing or swinging or something, because of the change to his body. Huh. And I mean, that makes sense. You look at all these guys. Bryson's one of the biggest examples we have of this, of changing his body dramatically in off season.
He's changed it 3 times.
Yeah, and he's changing it again, as you mentioned, as you saw him out at the Highlands Performance Golf Center working on his game, and you said that he's lost 20 pounds.
Man, he looks thin. I mean, he looks a good thin, right?
Right.
In terms of, he looks lean, more flexible, and I think I didn't really talk to him that much. We had a 5-minute conversation, but I think he's doing it for the longevity part. I think he realized he couldn't keep this much mass on his body, swing the way he was swinging, and sustain it that long.
Right.
So I think he's, listen, if Bryson isn't anything, he's super self-aware. Right. So I think that one of those things that he decided to change. Bryson's going to decide to change things because Bryson wants to do it, not because of outside influences and things like that. And, you and I talked about this the other day. We bang on him, we've probably banged on him a little bit too hard over the last year, but, just getting to talk to him a little bit more, being here in Dallas, practicing at Highlands Performance Golf Center. My little perception of him has changed a lot. And I don't think it's fake, right? I think he's a little less guarded. I think some of the comments that he said, maybe he thought about it a little bit more, but you also realize he's young. He's a kid, man. He's young.
Yeah.
These guys are young. And, getting thrown into that parallel so early, you're going to say some mistakes, you're going to make some mistakes. And I think, his father passed away, a few months ago. And I think that he might've reflected a little bit on that and stuff like that, but I don't know. But listen, he's been out at Highlands Performance Golf Center a lot. I've talked to him a lot, and look, I still wish he was on the PGA Tour, man. I do. I think with his new body change, I think he has an opportunity to actually win more golf tournaments now, as opposed to being on Live.
So we'll continue to keep an eye on that, and Xander Schauffele, I guess.
That's fun. But I don't know. The PGA Tour, they don't really have to say why you're suspended or why you're hurt. They just like, WD, I'm hurt. They don't have to say anything. They know internally, but they don't have to give it to the general public.
So let's get into our picks. And I can't remember, I don't have my sheet here. I thought that's what I've been looking for while you've been vamping over there.
I do.
You have my picks?
Vamping.
Oh, you've been over there talking and telling all the good folks good things, and I'm over here distracted because I can't find my sheet. I may have left it at home.
I don't look at your picks.
Nobody should look at my picks.
I don't. Yeah.
But not the best week to start. Not the best. Didn't have the best week really to start the season, admittedly. And kind of tell us what your card looked like and what happened.
Yeah. So I'm looking at our card. Where do we have our card? Yeah. So we had we had JT was our first pick, and just. Wow, I don't know. I was looking at JT. I was like, man, it seems like great value at 12-1. He didn't come through. He was one of the top guys on the board. Didn't come through. He's had success there before, and I don't know why. Listen, I can't explain it. I don't know. He looked like he was in good form. He was happy. He's played a lot of golf. It just didn't work out this week for JT. I don't have him on our card this week either. Sungjae M at 20-1. Again, the guy's a ball striking machine. If anyone has played, there's no one on the PGA Tour has played more golf in the offseason. If there is a golf season, then Sungjae M. They haven't. So, he didn't really even contend. Sahith Theegala, 33-1. What are you going to do? He had no chance. Russell Henley, 50-1. That was a firm pass. What do we have? So last week we didn't do any top 20s just because there was only 3 guys that were plus money. So that meaning was if you bet them for $100 and they were plus 120, you would win 20. Everyone was minus to finish in the top 20 because there's only a 38, 39 man field. So we did the top 10. So Hideki Matsuyama plus 210. He had a chance to jump in there in that top 10 going to the last round. I think he was tied 7th. Shot 1 under par, and 1 under par shooting like 80 out there. So kind of, we had a good chance. And the same way with Adam Scott, he was right there on the bubble of finishing the top 10, had a bad last round. So little misfortune there. And then Keegan Bradley at plus 240, just, I don't know. Keegan Bradley does what Keegan Bradley does, just being weird.
A little unpredictable sometimes, isn't he?
Yeah, a lot. Very much so. So, hey, listen, one of those rare weeks, guys, we just didn't cash a ticket. It happens. It does. And listen, this part is hard, and there's a lot of variables there, especially in a short field. So, if you look at our track record over this past year, every time we've had a card that we didn't cash a ticket, we had a monster week the following week. So again, I feel really confident, really, really good about our card at the Sony Open, and we'll talk about that after break. But yeah, not a great week, but again, we talk about this all the time. Follow the system, what we do. If you feel like, hey, listen, first week of the year, you had a bad week, you don't know what you're talking about, you're wrong. Follow the system. The system will make you money. Just there's times it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and it's not going to happen every week. But you know what? You were on with our colleague JP Peterson on his show this morning, talking a little bit about the upcoming Sony, and he's the first one to shout out that, when Johnny misses, he'll be the first one to tell you, and he tracks his bets and he lets you know about him here on the show. And a lot of these other guys, number one, a lot of these other guys don't place the bets that they pick.
Correct.
You bet every one of the picks that you give to us, and you play your own system like you tell us to. And when you're wrong or you miss, we'll make fun of you a little bit and we'll have a good time with it. But you admit it. You call yourself out, and But the nice thing is when you do miss, a lot of that I've noticed is that you kind of, why, where the player was at fault, what happened to him, why he didn't do well. And you take all of those into consideration the next time you're thinking about picking him for a tournament.
Yeah. And I don't flip coins here, guys. I just don't, it's not a flip of the coin. Who's going to win, who's going to finish top 20. I mean, these are studies in the system that we've kind of, perfection is the wrong way because there's too many variables, but over the last 3 or 4 years, it had great success. And, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Listen, I can admit when I'm wrong and I want to get it right. I'm not scared to say I'm wrong when it comes to these because there's so many variables and I don't make excuses. Last week was just a bad week. We started this way last year, right? Remember, Tim, we didn't have a great week at the Century Tournament, the Champions, and look how we kind of, and then we did pick Cam Smith to win the Sony Open the following week. Right. So, but he won Tournament Century. So, and that's a rare feat to go back to back, but we did pick him and we had a monster week the following week. So I'm looking forward to that at the Sony Open. But hey, listen, like I said, when we're wrong, we admit it and we're right. We'll continue to be right and make everybody some money.
It happens. One last thought here. I meant to bring this up earlier after Colin Morikawa's just collapse. I don't know what else to call it. Collapse. I don't want to call it choke. We're just going to call it a collapse.
You can't say choke. Choke's
no, it's a wrong word, but it was a collapse for sure of Greg Norman proportions. But dude,
that's a choke.
Those were all chokes. Yeah. He's still choking.
Yeah, he's in a different way.
I hope he chokes. But man, Colin Morikawa just handled it with pure class. I meant to mention this earlier. The post-tournament interview, he stepped up to the microphone. He said, "For me, there's still a lot of work to do. Obviously, it showed today, but I'm willing to put in that work." And I'm telling you, what's he, 25 years old?
Yeah, max.
Dude, if I had just lost a big lead to lose a tournament or something in life, the equivalent in life or whatever that is, I probably would have put a hole in the hood of my rental car with a 6-iron. I would not have been able to go up there and answer. I'm 51 now, and I probably couldn't handle it that well.
That's all you are is 51?
That's what they tell me.
That's it. You better check that birth certificate. I'm not sure about that. But if you look at Colin Morikawa, listen, we joke around with him and say, he knows what he's going home to. So if he loses the golf tournament, he's good. No, that's another joke. But listen, the guy's class. The guy's, if you watch his interviews, he's he went to Cal. He's a smart guy. Yep. He plays the game and he plots the game right. He's never going to overpower a golf course. He's great for the game. He speaks nothing but kudos for Colin Morikawa. We joke around with him. He's not. Listen, he's not on the list. He's not on the list. Right?
Not on the list.
No, he's not on the list. No. I might be on his list after the show or after this last 6 months, but no,
he's not even aware of our existence.
Yes, he is.
I don't think so. No, maybe yours, not mine.
Yeah, he is. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised who's watches more than you think.
I know.
But that being said, yeah, listen, that's a true professional, right? I mean, you got to take the punches. I mean, you're not going to win every golf tournament. You're going to lose more golf tournaments than you win. And if you're a sponsor of Colin Morikawa, give him more money because that's the guy that you want to rep your brand. And that's one of the reasons why TaylorMade's with him and things like that. The guy's a great guy. Anyone I know out there has never said a bad word about Colin Morikawa.
How much would he pay us to wear a FanStream Sports hat on the tour?
How much would he pay us?
Yeah.
Maybe $1.
I mean, I would take it.
I would too. I would take $0.
I'd let him do it for free.
No, I'd let him for sure.
Yeah. Put a little stick bag tag with our logo on it and stuff. And
I'd rather his wife wear it.
I was about to say, I put a little hidden camera on his golf bag. He can take it home.
I mean, that's a lot. There's some laws about that.
Well, only if you get caught.
Well, we're going to get caught.
It's only illegal if
you get caught all the time. So
I get caught with crap I don't even do.
I know. Yeah, yes, you do it. No, you do.
Sometimes.
You just hide it.
Sometimes.
I still get caught.
I try to hide things well. So we will get into the 2023 Sony Open from, was it WAIALAE? I don't know how to speak Chinese. Yeah, that's where I was going. I was going to introduce it, and then we'll take a quick break, and we will be back with more From the Rough with Johnny and Tim coming up after this.
Hello, sports fans. FanStream Sports.
Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan, but he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Guys, let me tell you about Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Are you experiencing low sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, and you just don't feel like you have the vitality you once had? You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well. Do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability. Not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, one unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashland Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa.
Coming back at you. Now, more Fan Stream Sports.
Welcome back to From the Rough, America's favorite golf podcast, live from the DSP Media Podcast Studios as part of the Fan Stream Sports Network. We are happy to be on board with those boys and glad to cross promote and self promote and all that other good stuff that we do along with each other.
Yeah, what an exciting time for DSP Media and Fan Stream Sports. If you guys haven't really jumped on to the Fan Stream Sports app, it's in development, and in the next couple of weeks we will be launching our live channel there in Tampa of Fan Stream Sports with our main man and partner out there in Tampa, JP Peterson, who does great work out there. And a hell of a golfer also. So, he's coming on Drunk Sports tonight to give a little insight on the Tampa side of the Cowboys Tampa game on Monday. But most of you guys know who JP Peterson is. He's become a great partner of us, a great friend, a good golfer, man. So we're looking forward to the future with FanStream Sports and JP.
Let's get into a little bit of Sony Open, shall we? As the first full PGA Tour field travels to Honolulu for the final event of the Hawaii Swing. Is it really a swing if there's only 2 tournaments?
No, it's just
I mean, they still call it that, though, right?
No, they don't call it a swing. No, the swing is usually if there's 3 tournaments.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's 3 tournaments.
FUCBS Sports.
Yeah, did they say that?
Yeah.
No,
Still called it the Hawaii Swing.
Well, it can't be a swing if
Idiots.
the first tournament only has 38 guys.
Right. And not everybody played. Freaking Kyle Porter. I need to give him a call.
Who's that?
He's really good, by the way.
Okay.
I like Kyle Porter.
Apparently he's not if he's calling it a swing. He doesn't know shit about golf.
He knows everything about golf.
He does?
He knows a lot about everything.
Wow.
He's really good. Go check him out over at CBS Sports. The PGA Tour makes its way to the capital of the Aloha State for the 2023 Sony Open this week. It's at the WAIALAE Country Club. I don't speak Chinese, so I'm not real sure how that's supposed to be pronounced.
Please don't make up a word at the end of that. That's next show because Nancy Gerber's
Well, I
watching.
don't know how to say that word.
WAIALAE.
Well, they spell it wrong then.
Well, they're Hawaiian.
Oh, God. They're supposed to be American.
No, they're not.
They're part of America.
They're part of the United States.
Yes, of America. They just need to learn to speak American.
Can we get into this on next show? I gotta win some people some money from our last week.
Got me all choked up now talking about the Hawaiians.
No, you said WAIALAE. That's why you
WAIALAE.
Yeah.
Country club players will be faced with a much different task, really, than what they dealt with this past weekend. It's a much different course. We touched on that earlier in the show. Seth Rayner design. Do you know anything about Seth Rayner?
I know a lot about Seth Rayner. He's one of those.
What does he know about golf?
Apparently a lot because he's a great designer. He's kind of an old school designer. He likes the tree line types of golf courses and meander through the trees and a lot of dogleg lefts, dogleg rights, puts bunkers in places where you cut corners. I love his types of golf courses because they're old school, which I love. I love old Donald Ross, Seth Rayner, things like that. I like when you start from the tee and the hole is defined by the tee just by tree lines, right? And everyone's a little bit different, right? So I'm a huge, like I said, I was always growing up as a huge Donald Ross fan, Seth Rayner, guys like that can get a lot out of a small property,
right,
per se, and make it really, really challenging, even though the length is not an issue. They're usually short golf courses.
Right. So a type of course like this, the emphasis is going to be keeping the ball in the fairway, positional golf, setting yourself up, for a good second, third, fourth shot, whatever the case may be. You've got 19 of the 39 players from the Century will be making the short trip from Maui to Honolulu, led by South Korean phenom Tom Kim, who, again, we talked about him and his I expect big things from him this upcoming season. But typically these guys who played in that first tournament find a little more success the second week that they're there, being already acclimated and having been there for 2 or 3 weeks already.
Yeah, it's a factor for sure. I mean, just kind of like we talk about, this type of year, kind of knocking off the rust a little bit. So don't take too much into the performance of these guys last week, because a lot of them just use it as a tune-up. It's free money basically for these guys. I mean, they want to win, but the golf courses are polar opposites. But the time change is a big deal. I mean, for those guys to potentially play, last week and then this week, it helps, but also realize even though the guys didn't play last week, a lot of those guys went over there early and played and been over there for 10 days or so. Cause it's not a terrible place to be for 10, 12 days.
No, not at all. As a matter of fact, 17 of the last 24 Sony Open winners were participants in the week prior.
Yeah.
So good indication there what we're talking about. Jordan Spieth will be making the trip as well as he plays the Sony Open for the 5th time in his career and the first time since 2019. In contention at the halfway point. Of course, we talked about him there at Kapalua. He hopes he can string together a full 72 holes at WAIALAE. Still don't know if I'm saying that right.
I appreciate you saying it that way, sir.
I don't think that's right, but I'll say it because that's what you said.
It's right for right now.
Okay.
How about that?
I still think it's WAIALAE.
No, it's not.
That's how it's spelled.
WAIALAE.
Okay. Weird.
For a guy that can't hit a fairway.
I can hit a fairway. Oh, you mean with a golf ball?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
Sung JM, defending champion Hideki Matsuyama, and a slew of Georgia Bulldogs, Brian Harmon, Russell Henley. We'll round out other big names set for the second event of the new year. The technicals here, it is the 2023 Sony Open at the WAIALAE Country Club there in Honolulu. It's a par 70, 7,044 yards. That is pretty short, isn't it?
It is par 70 though.
Yeah, par 70 with a purse. It's not the 15 million that we saw in the first tournament. 7.9 million.
Yeah, it's
Still pretty good.
It's pretty good, but I don't want to go back to what last week in the Century, but they're making the bump. They bumped up the Century Tournament of Champions. And that was like one of the biggest discrepancies for the tournament is because it was a short field. So what they're going to do next year is the tournament is going to be over 2 years of winners as opposed to one, because it's one of those elevated events, right? For money. So most of the tour guys are like, well, that's not fair. If you're going to elevate this event and it's going to be a winners only field.
Right.
So they're making some stipulations in terms of getting more people in that field. And I think they're probably going to get to maybe 100, maybe give a couple exemptions or Ryder Cup guys. So they're going to change that next year because it's really not fair. I mean, it's really not fair for a lot of those guys.
Well, then just win. How's that not fair? Like, I get what they're doing, but
but you can't elevate the field for 40 guys. That's just not the right
problem
way
with
to
that.
do it. Well, of course you don't, because you're never going to get in that deal anyway.
I'm going to win one of these days.
You're going to win. Well, you win in life.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you do.
You've seen some of the girls.
I mean, it has nothing to do with girls. You're around me, aren't you?
You're right.
You're
I'm winning because I am Johnny's Robin. He is my Batman, and I'm his Robin. Sometimes I even get to drive the Batmobile.
You do get to drive the Batmobile. When
Sometimes.
I'm out of town, I leave you the Batmobile.
I know you do. It's awesome.
I know.
I get all the chicks in that Batmobile.
You do. I saw it.
That's right. Tom Kim is your leader in the odds. It'd be weird if he was the leader of the tournament and hasn't started yet. At 11-1, Jordan Spieth, again, he's the highest ranked player in this field and will be making his first appearance, as we mentioned, since 2019. I guess he had certain playing obligations that he's got to meet in 2023, and that's really the only reason I think he's here.
Who?
Jordan Spieth.
He played last year.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he likes going out there. The only reason he didn't play Century because he didn't win. So he played like he likes going out there.
All right.
He's got the family, and it's kind of a chill week
So
for him. And
weird.
he likes the golf course.
I don't understand these golfers that have families.
But you also realize he won't play the next few weeks because he doesn't play. He doesn't play in the desert. He doesn't play.
Right.
He used to be the old Bob Hope, and he doesn't play Pebble very often for some reason.
That's weird. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have Riviera. So his schedule, but he likes going out there, and that's a great place. It's warm, with the exception of this year. I mean, Dallas, last few years, me living here in the wintertime, full time and in the winter, it's been brutal the last few winter, but now it's 80 degrees today, is 80 degrees yesterday. We've had a pretty good winter, which I think this is normal for Dallas. Maybe not 80, but the last few years it's been tough and he hasn't been able to practice. Now he's got the means obviously to go wherever he wants to go and play, but I think he likes going out there.
And he's had success on similar courses Colonial. First of all, it's a pretty densely treed fairway type of course. Harbortown, maybe similar.
Yeah.
And he's had success there. So,
he won Harbortown.
Yeah. So who knows what's in for Jordan Spieth at 14-1. It's just tough to ever try to predict what he's going to do from week to week. Sung JM at 14-1. Hideki Matsuyama at 16-1. Still winless over the last year. He's had some injuries, I know, and he's been working on certain parts of his game. But, hopefully back here in Hawaii, he can get some of those things worked out again at 14-1. Brian Harmon, your boy.
Yeah, I like it. I listen, I don't have him on my card, but listen, if you want to take a little flyer this week, guys, on a guy that I don't have on my card, take Brian Harmon.
20-1, Brian Harmon. Russell Henley, another one of your boys, 22-1. What was his big deal with last year? What do you think the biggest failure of his game last year? Because didn't he have trouble hitting fairways or something?
Russell Henley?
Yeah. I can't remember. There was something I noticed about his game last year. I can't remember what it was.
He was in contention probably 4 or 5 times last year going into the last round and faltered. He didn't have a win.
Okay.
But he faltered. And we had him on our card a lot because he had a really solid season. Like, he's one of those guys that is really solid at every aspect of the game. He's not the longest. He's not the his iron play is really exceptional. That's where he gets it. But he's not the longest driver. He hits it plenty far. His putting is average. But you get him on Bermuda, he's magnificent.
He was in contention here last year, wasn't he?
Well, he's won it before.
5. Okay, yeah. It says he had a 5-stroke lead over the final 9 holes, and he squandered it last year.
But Hideki went and got that golf.
Yeah.
tournament. I mean, Hideki won that golf tournament. I mean, Russell Henley didn't play poorly. Hideki went and got it last year.
Right, because he posted a 23 under, including a final round 5 under 65. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Tom Hoagie at 22-1. Corey Connors 22-1. Your boy Billy Horschel,
well,
28-1.
not my boy, but I hope he is this week.
I hope he is this week.
He's got some making up to do, old Billy Horschel.
He does. He needs to get back on your good graces.
He does. Well, me and him is going to have a little conversation when I
he's
get
already
to Tampa
on,
next week.
He's already on your list.
He wants to get off the list. He does. He really does.
Everybody wants off your list.
And I told him, I said, the only way you get off this list is play better and make me some candy.
That's what he's going to have to do. Taylor Montgomery at 30-1.
What big year from him. Watch out.
Keegan Bradley 33-1. KH Lee 33-1. Keith Mitchell and Cam Davis all 33-1. Maverick McNeely also at 33-1. Is he the best player on the tour that still hasn't won?
No.
No?
No.
I think so. I think he might be.
There's a lot of guys out there better than Maverick McNeely.
I like Maverick.
You do?
I do. I like him a lot.
You just like the name.
He's no Max Homa.
No one is Max Homa.
Max Homa's badass.
I can tell you a lot of guys that hadn't won on the PGA Tour better than Maverick McNeely.
Adam Scott at 33-1. So yeah, there's your main players in the field and their odds. You want to get into some picks?
Let's do it. We got our music back. Last week was a little rough. We got our music back for our picks.
What did we have for music?
Well, we had a little intro for our picks music. Oh, you still rusty? You still like these guys on the PGA Tour? We always had intro music
for picks. We never had intro music for picks, did we?
Always. I promise this isn't it for sure, but we'll go with it. We will go with it. It's fine.
Like I said, I forgot how to pop. I haven't done this show in years, it feels like.
Well, it does feel like years.
I remember music.
So as we have these somber tones of our intro music, we're going to start off our picks because it might be a little bit fitting after our non-winners from last week.
I get to go first, though, right?
Yeah, you do.
You're going to let me go first?
I will. Please do. Because I got some scratching off to do.
I know. I know. We got to warn people because if we pick the same person, then they better just stay away from it.
Is this Pink Panther?
No, this is not Pink Panther. I mean, I can change it to this.
That sounds better. At least that's a gambling. Sounds like a little bit more like it's gambling.
You know what this is from?
Game show.
Yeah, match game.
Match game. I was close.
So Tom Kim, my winner.
That's so bad. Way to go out on a limb.
Tom Kim is my winner. JJ Spawn is my top 10.
That's not bad.
JT Poston, my top 20. There you go.
That's not bad.
Except for Tom Kim.
Well, I mean, the favorite, really.
Well, it's just if he's your pick, he's your pick. I don't care if he's the favorite. All right. I don't care where they are on the card. Just it's my pick.
I like JT Poston to finish in that top. JJ Spawn, if you watch, he's lost a lot of weight. He's had some health problems over the last couple of years. I think his health is good right now. He's lost a lot of weight. I just don't know, with the PGA Tour season, I don't know if his stamina is going to be really good, especially traveling. I mean, he lives in San Diego, but if it's that good yet to walk and play, he played last week and that's the hardest walk on the PGA Tour.
Yeah.
So is his body rejuvenated after, losing all that weight? I don't know. There's too many variables there, but that's not a bad pick. JT Poston is a good pick to finish in the top 20. I do. That's not bad. It's not bad for you.
Man, I'm getting some praise from Batman over
here. For
you.
you.
I know. I understand. And that, you know what? Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Let's get into Johnny's picks. His picks brought to you by no one, as we're still working on that. So if you'd like to sponsor Johnny's picks each week,
I think Terry Purdon would love us to sponsor the picks from Turf Life, wouldn't she?
all right. Johnny's picks brought to you by Turf Life. It's not just a game, it's a way of life. Turf Life is the brand that salutes the customer and industry players everywhere whose lives involve turf. It addresses the games we play and the jobs we do. Turf Life showcases sports, business, education, and our enjoyment of the outdoors. So you guys head over to turflife.club and become a turf head and join the club today. Snag your window decal or other special Turf Life accessories over at turflife.club, and I will see you there. Thank you, Turf Life.
That's a cool hat you got on.
How you like that?
I like
Yeah,
that.
there you go, right there.
That's great.
Turf Life. We love Turf Life.
We do. We love Turf Life. We love Terry Purdon. So, hey, listen, we're going to get back on track this week. I know last week was a little lackluster, but this is what we did last year also. We always bounce back after a week that we just, we didn't really perform. It's a long season. We always say this is not a sprint, right?
Right.
This is a long season. Follow the system and getting back on track this week. So that being said, our first pick this week is Cam Davis at 33-1. Look for a big year from Cam Davis, right? He's had some. This is his fourth time playing this event. Last 3 times he's played in this event, he's never finished out of the top 20.
Right.
2 years ago, he finished tied for 9th. Look for a big year for him. He didn't play last week at Century, but he's been out there practicing. So, listen, this is a guy I look for really, really big things on the PGA Tour this year. His talent is unprecedented, and all the guys on the PGA Tour will tell you that too. So I like him in our first spot at 33-1. KH Lee, Dallas resident, another guy we like at 33-1. Look at a guy that likes that type of grass, likes that type of weather. He gets really similar to that, like really old school Bermuda, old grainy Bermuda like we have in some places here in Dallas. So he's used to that. Chipping around the greens is going to be a deterrent for a lot of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about grass around the greens, that's the biggest hard part of going from bent to Bermuda, changing the wedges. He's used to that. So look for a guy like him who has a great short game to really have some success this week and have an opportunity to win. Third pick in the box this week is Billy Horschel at 35-1. Billy needs to get back on the good graces of FanStream Sports and DSP Media, and especially me. So I think he's going to have a good week. If the weather conditions gets windy, and it hasn't been there for probably the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think if it gets windy, look for a grinder like Billy Horschel to have a great opportunity to win the golf tournament. He didn't have a great week last week only because he shot 4 over par on the first round last week and finished like T25. So his last 3 rounds last week at Century were really good. I look for Billy Horschel to have a good opportunity to win the golf tournament this week at 35-1. Our ham sandwich pick, Andrew Putnam at 50-1. Had some success there before last couple years. A guy that linked for this type of golf course, linked isn't an issue. He's a guy that can kind of plot his way around. He likes to shape the ball left to right, right to left. Had some success. I think 3 years ago, he had a chance to win the golf tournament. He just didn't get it done. Even though he's a California guy, he likes playing in this type of weather and this type of grass. So look for Andrew Putnam to have a chance to an opportunity to win this golf tournament at 50-1. Sorry. Top 10 picks this week. We'll go with Webb Simpson first at plus 650. Listen, Webb Simpson owns this place, owns this golf course. I don't even think he's played this place 10 times. I don't ever think he's finished out of the top 15 or 20.
Right.
This is his daddy, right? This is where he goes, makes his hay, loves this type of place. Just the guy can shape the ball any way you want to. Good putter, knows the greens. Experience is going to be key here, and that's one of the reasons I didn't like Tom Kim.
Right.
It's a little quirky place, and if anybody knows this place better than Webb Simpson, I'd like to see it. Maybe Russell Henley, but look at Webb Simpson to have a really kind of strong showing this week. Our second top 10 pick this week is Russell Knox at plus 700. If the wind picks up, this guy is the best wind player on the PGA Tour. Grew up in Scotland, used to the wind, loves these type of conditions, loves if it gets windy, loves this golf course, had some success, hasn't won, but he's always in that contention. If the weather is kind of flat, then I don't really think he has an opportunity to win. But if it gets windy and blustery, look for this guy to jump in that, maybe potentially to win and definitely in the top 10. Two top 20 picks this week, guys. We have Adam Scott at plus 175. If you listen to his press conference today, I really like the way Adam Scott is talking. I think Adam Scott knows first off, he loves his place. He has success there, loves his place, loves being in Hawaii. And I know that he has played in practice in the Bahamas, which is very, very similar to playing out there. Windy conditions. So he's got some reps in. He didn't play well last week at Century, but he didn't play terrible. I think he shot like 15 under, right? That's not terrible. But that being said, when the winner is 28, 27 under par, he just couldn't get it done. Yeah. He loves that place. And our last pick this week to finish in the top 20 is Mark Hubbard at plus 500. And I know a lot of you guys are going to say, who's Mark Hubbard? Well, Mark Hubbard has kept his car on the PGA Tour for the last 4 years. He has success at the beginning of the year. He kind of has a little bit of downslide at the middle of the year, but towards the end of the year, he's a little bit behind the 8 ball and kind of grinds and keeps his card every year. The guy's a solid player, and look for him to get off to a really good start this year. And why not start here at the Sony Open at good odds to finish in the top 20 at plus 500? That's my card this week, guys. Great bounce back week this week, coming off a little lackluster performance last week at Century, but let's get it back this week at the Sony Open.
Very good. We want to thank everybody that's made this one possible. The Highlands Performance Golf Center in North Carrollton. Make sure you go check out their website. If you're local, go check out their mini golf course that I absolutely love. My record is 7 under. Y'all go out there, try to beat that.
That's what they're
pretty sure it's a course record.
Par is not 100 there.
I just went based on the scorecard that they provided for me, sir. That's all I can do.
Well, that's sir.
Pretty sure that's a course record, sir.
Sir,
Batman Batman. Robin calls Batman sir all the time.
What's the Guilford? What's the guy that handles all the business there?
Alfred.
Guilford.
All right. Maybe we should have a Guilford. Can Colby be our Guilford?
I thought that was Bus.
Bus is our Guilford. There you go. And of course, Turf Life. Appreciate them and everything they've done for us here recently, and we look forward to a continued long, fruitful relationship with them. Thanks to Johnny for bringing the brains and the golf knowledge, and thanks to me for making us all sound good. We will be back next week at 5 o'clock Central Time on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all that good stuff to not only recap the Sony Open, but we will be previewing the American Express.
Yeah, we'll do American Express, but don't forget, all of our stuff that's going on is on our new FanStream Sports app.
So it will be.
Yeah, so you can watch all the shows in continual rotation every day, all of our great content here at FanStream Sports and DSP Media. So if you miss the show, if you miss our shows, that doesn't mean you can't catch up on the next day. So our app is continually running. Looking forward to that and all the great content that's coming up on FanStream Sports.
We will see you guys next Monday. Have a safe week. Enjoy the tournament this weekend. And until next week, you guys keep hitting them straight. Today's episode is brought to you by the Highlands Performance Golf Center, North Dallas's premier golf practice facility with over 65 grass tees, 2 practice putting surfaces, a short game area, and an 18-hole mini golf course. With covered and heated tees, it's the best place to practice your game year-round. The Highlands Performance Golf Center is located in Carrollton on Trinity Mills, in between Marsh and Midway. Give them a call at 972-733-4111 or check them out on the web at highlandspgc.com.